Let's look at this mail which is inappropriate. So let's look at the subject line. Something you might like. You see the subject line of the email, and most people don't pay attention to these small things. You see, in the beginning, I talked about things that will get you hired. Even before you go for the interview, before you actually verbally communicate with a person, you have already communicated many things. How? By sending them your resume in a specific way. So if your resume is shabby, it's not up to date, it has missing information, or it has a complete paragraph, it's like an essay, you have already communicated that you do not know how to formulate a resume. So people will think, if you do not know how to make a nice resume, how will you know how to do the job? Basics ही clear नहीं. If you send people an email and that email tone is not right, grammatical errors, words are very casual, people will say, they are requesting me for an interview. इनको तो interview के request करना भी नहीं आता. So do you think it'll go ahead to the next phase? It won't. These are small things which make a lot of difference. So even before we go for the interview, we have communicated many things about ourselves by the kind of resume we send them, by the kind of emails we write to them. In a telephonic interview, again, if it's unclear, there are casual words, when you keep the phone, you don't thank the person for his or her time, saying that, thank you so much for taking out time to speak with me. I appreciate it. Okay, it's a good gesture. People don't say that. Small things matter. So when you speak to people over the phone, even before you actually meet them in person, you have communicated many things. So let's ensure today that whatever we communicate before we reach the venue, our communication is good and impressive. So look at the subject line, something you might like. What do you understand of this? I don't understand any of this. It's like saying, meeting soon in an email. Meeting soon? What does that mean? Is it a sales meeting? Is it an appraisal meeting? What time is it at? Not mentioned. Where is it at? Not mentioned. Subject line देख कर ही हमें पता चल जाना चाहिए कि email किस बारे में है. Right? So the subject line should be very clear and specific. It should have all the details. This one is very generic. You don't even know what's happening here. Sending to many people at once. See, in your email, there are three things. One is the column which has the primary recipient. So let's say I have 5 managers under me, and I have to speak to 3 of them. So the primary recipients, who are they? My 3 managers who I want to speak with. And below them, there are 8 team leaders. If I want the team leaders to be kept in loop, I must put them in CC, carbon copy. I am not speaking directly to them. I just want them to be aware of the conversation we are having. So they go in CC. And then there are people from another department who I don't want to tell anybody that I'm actually speaking with these 2 people. So let's say I'm forwarding the mail to I want the accounts department also to be part of this, but I don't want other people to know that I've actually sent the mail to the accounts people. So those people go in BCC, blind carbon copy. So you always talk to the primary recipients, then CC is for people who you just want to be aware of what's happening. They're not directly, you're not directly speaking with them. You're indirectly speaking with them. You just want them to be aware. And in BCC, blind carbon copy, you put names of people who you don't want to disclose actually. So nobody will know. So BCC, one would not know who the other recipient is. So you don't send so many people at once. The CC will always be a few. and then other people will all, the primary recipient will always be in few, and the other people, the many people would be in CC. Most of them would be in CC. Okay. So if I talk about this mail overall, it is very unclear. A good mail should have 4 paragraphs, and one paragraph should not be more than 2 sentences each, more or less. So these are just one-liners. I just don't like the way this mail is formatted. It's very haphazard. So as I said, one mail, 4 paragraphs. One paragraph, 2 sentences each. Okay. The first one should be reason for writing. Why am I writing to you? And the other part of the body, you should be, asking queries. Second part, you'll be asking your query, what your query problem question is. Third part, you'll be either suggesting a resolution or asking for one, or whatever information it is. And the fourth one is the last line, simply saying that I hope to hear from you soon. I look forward to seeing you again, so on and so forth. Right? And you end it with regards. Most of the time in the business world, it's always regard Sunil Singh, manager training. If you want to mention your contact details, you may. That's how you would formulate your email. But most important thing is, see, this person says hi, and there's no name. Who are you speaking with? You don't know who you're speaking with. If you do not know who you're speaking with, you must write dear sir or dear madam. If you know the name of the person, because that person would always be the primary recipient, right? So if you know the name of the person, then you must write hi Arun, because you know who you're sending the mail to, right? Unless it's a complete department that, solutions at Airtel, for example, or Apple it at Airtel. You don't know who the person is, so you just write dear sir in that case. If you know the name, write the name here. So these are small things. So this is an example of a bad mail, and now you know what to do. So instead of writing meeting at noon, that's very generic, doesn't tell you anything. It's actually confusing. Meeting at noon. What is the meeting about? Don't know. Noon means what? What time? Don't know. Where is the meeting? Don't know. So the appropriate thing would be sales meeting at 3 o'clock on Friday the 13th. If you want to mention the venue, let's say in Venus. Let's say the name of the room is Venus. So some people, even if they don't have time to read your mail, they'll just read the subject line and then they'll know, okay, sales meeting, 3 o'clock, Friday the 13th in this room, Venus. That's it. They'll be there. It's very clear.